Hello, good morning, floralpreneurs. It is I, Allison Ellis, coming at you live on a Sunday. Thanks so much for tuning in and being here today. I invited you here today to talk about how much money a florist makes. It's a really important, really important topic. How much money does a florist make? What is a realistic income goal for a florist? How much should you or could you be making in your business? I see people tuning in. Hello, thank you for being here. That's really why I brought you here today. But I want to be really clear in setting an intention today, okay? I'm all about setting intentions, having clear intentions, defining intentions. My intention today is not to create any kind of limiting money beliefs for you, okay? My intention is not to come here and squash your dreams and tell you that you can't be a florist. You're never gonna make it in this business, honey. That's not what I'm here for. But I do think it's super important to talk about what's realistic, what's actually happening in the market right now, how much are people making? Because we live in this beautiful Instagram world, this beautiful social media world where it looks like everyone's doing things that are amazing, and it can really undermine your confidence. And the way I deal with this, I'll tell you, want to know how I deal with it? I look at every single amazing thing that people are doing, and I just, in the back of my head, there's that little voice that says, I have no idea how much money they made off of this, right? I have no idea if they did this for free, if this was their best friend's wedding and that's why they got to go to Italy and do this. I don't know if this is something that they actually enjoyed doing. I don't know if they, it inconvenienced their life in a way where they were like super unhappy about making this decision, right? It's so easy to assume that everyone is making bank and loving life and so happy in their business when maybe they're actually struggling on the other side of it, okay? So anytime I see these things that are amazing, why didn't I do that? Little voice, I have no idea if they made any money off of that, okay? So that's what it's about at the end of the day, is a sustainable business. I see your comments coming in. I'm gonna say hi to you, but I really wanna keep rolling with this because I know the topic is so super important and I really don't wanna take up more time than I have to. So let me introduce myself real quick, just in case you're not familiar with me. I'm Allison Ellis of realflowerbusiness.com. I've been a floral designer for over 24 years, and what I really do though now, I am a floral designer. I got weddings, but my real passion right now, my newest passion is teaching florists how to be more profitable, how to actually have a profitable business, how to streamline your processes, how to streamline your work, so that you actually love your business, right? Because it doesn't matter if you have a business if it's not lighting you up, filling you up, and giving you that feeling of like extreme pride and joy, right? So that's what I want to help florists do more of. More pride, more joy, more freedom. All of that is really what I'm here to do. So today though, the topic is how much money should you make? So I took notes for you. If you're familiar with me, you know I don't do a lot of scripts and notes, but I wanted to keep it super tight for you today because it's such an important topic, and this isn't a fluff chat. This isn't like a chat where you're not gonna have real numbers at the end. I want to really dive into this and what is realistic. So first, there's three things I want to touch on today. One is, how much does the average florist make, right? Then I want to talk about how much can you make in your business? And what is that realistic income goal going to look like? So how much can you make now, and then how much in the future is a realistic goal for you in your business, okay? So what I found interesting is recently I did a survey, obviously not on the script here, I'm already off my script. I did a survey recently where I asked people about their income level. I didn't ask you what you make, but what I asked was this specific question: are you reaching your income goals? And then I asked a few different ways of how you might not be reaching them, okay? So I asked, are you reaching your income goals? And less than 20% of people said that they're actually reaching their income goals. So if you're reaching your income goals, you are in the minority. you are doing it, okay? So you should really be proud of yourself. Most people said they were not reaching their income goals, but there are three different categories of people not reaching their income goals. One is I'm almost reaching my income goal. The other is, no, I'm not reaching my income goal, but I'm new, I'm just starting out, and that's realistic. You might not reach your income goal when you're starting out, that's okay. And then the last one was, no, I'm not reaching my income goal, and I've been at this for a long time. And there are yeses in all of those categories, that they're not, or no's, I guess, in all those categories, that they're not reaching their income goal. So really, it's 80% of the people who replied to me recently. Thank you, by the way, to anyone who did that. I really appreciate your feedback. It's so helpful to me. 80% of people not reaching their income goal, like, that's no joke. That's no joke. And I want to really embrace what that means. Because I've been seeing ads on Facebook for like $100,000 income for a florist. Let me say this, that is fantastic, okay? So if you're in an income level of 6 figures as a florist, you are above average. I would say you are well above average, probably. I would go right out on that limb and say you are well above average if you're making 6 figures as a florist. And here's what I've realized for myself. If I want to be a 6-figure florist, if I want to make $100,000 selling flowers, I need to book over $270,000 worth of sales in a year. So when I do the math, I don't know what your sales goals are. You put the income goal aside for a second. Sales goals. I always set a sales goal. You should be doing that too in your business. My sales goal has never been $270,000. So if I reach a $270,000 sales goal, that means I gotta breathe on this one because it's pretty major. I only have 5 months that are peak wedding season here. It's like mid-May to mid-October is when it's the best time to get married in Vermont. So in those 5 months, I would need to sell over $54,000. I think that's what it was when I did my math. Yeah, $54,000 a month in wedding sales. Now, that is possible for some people, but that's not how I want my life to be. Okay, I don't want to have $5,000-$10,000 weddings, $10,000+ weddings a month that I am in charge of. That's not what I'm looking for. That's not the life that I'm looking for. Okay, so I just want to be really clear that if that's possible for some people in the world, they are above average and they're selling a high volume of stuff. They absolutely have people working for them as well. And here is what I learned, because I talked to florists of different genres and I tried to reach out and get some feedback that was as accurate as possible for you, because I don't want to just come here and talk to you about what I think. I like to tell you what I know for a fact, okay? So what I know for a fact after reaching out to several florists, I talked to someone who sells over $1 million worth of sales in their flower shop. I talked to someone who works from home, has a home-based business, but has been doing this for a long time and definitely knows her stuff. And I also talked to somebody who's an events-only business. She doesn't work from home. She definitely has a space. And she's the one who gave me the most interesting feedback on this $100,000 goal, because she isn't yet at that $100,000 profit, or rather income, but she's close to it. She's close to it. And here's what she told me about that. It is possible to have a 6-figure business, but the people she knows that have a 6-figure business have been in business for 10 years or more, okay? That's a really not small detail, okay? Longevity is part of what having a good business is about, right? I'm always talking about longevity in your brand and your business. That's the goal. It's not about today or tomorrow. It's about, years from now. Where are we headed? So if you've been in business for 10 years or more, you've got some street cred, right? You have been around the block. You know a thing or two that makes you perhaps, worth, your value goes up. You're worth a little bit more for your time and your expertise. So 10 years or more in business is what this florist told me as an observation around the people she personally knows who make $100,000 or more in their business. And they sell more than flowers. They don't have a flowers only business model. They're selling planning or event decor or rental items. They've got some other aspect. They're capturing some other aspect of business. They're not making $100,000 selling only bouquets and boutonnieres and centerpieces. So this particular florist said something to me like, well, I've got a $30,000 event coming up, but only $10,000 of that is for flowers. The rest is like basically for her unique awesomeness, right? So when you're at a place where you can get somebody to pay you tens of thousands of dollars, okay, because that's what $20,000 is, tens of thousands of dollars just for your unique awesomeness, for what's in your brain, for what you have proven already you're capable of, right? That's what you're getting paid for. That's when you're going to get into that $100,000 or more, that six figure, okay? So I just want to be so super clear on who it is that makes six figures, what it takes to get there, because I don't want people having, again, I said I was going to limit your money beliefs, but I'm about to say I don't want you to have a $100,000 goal as your income, because you will be sorely let down many, many more years of your business than not if that's your goal, right? Some people will never ever get there, and that's just the truth of it. You may just live in a place where that's not in the cards for you, okay? And that's got to be okay. So let's talk about what a real average, I don't know what the right word is, right? What the normal florist might expect to make. Really and truly, this was like from my gut, but also from, I talk to people. I have one-on-ones with people. They are usually pretty open about sharing their sales goals or income goals. And truly, $30,000 to $50,000 is like the realistic income of most florists. So if you're making $30,000 as an employee, for example, right? Because here's the thing, not everyone owns their business. And it may feel like you're not making enough even with your $30,000 income, right? And I'm sure the person paying you feels like they're not making enough either, right? So it's a small business. We're mom and pop, right? Even if you don't actually have a shop, even if you don't have jars of rock candy and you're not a general store, right? You're a small business. And there are certain things that small businesses are good at and certain things they're not good at. And getting really big and making tons of money is not always in the cards for a really good small business, because when you're a small business, you niche down. You're speaking to individuals who are very specific. You're not talking to everybody, right? You're talking to specific people who want what you want. So, or excuse me, want what you have to offer. So at the end of the day, if you're making $30,000 to $50,000, you're probably right in the normal range of what a florist makes. And if you're making more than $50,000, if you're in the $50,000 to $80,000 range in your flower business, you are doing something right. You are maximizing your profit in a really smart way, most likely, right? Because it's not easy to exceed that $50,000 mark. It took me a really long time to make more than $42,000 in my business, a really long time, in part because I was not doing this full time, right? I had to start somewhere, so I had a part-time business. Then my sales, no matter how many weddings I did, people were only willing to spend this much with me, right? So it wasn't until I was able to, again, it's that street cred, get enough bigger weddings that I could increase my sales and decrease my number of weddings, but increase sales, right? Increments. This is how these things happen, in increments. We don't just start out awesome. We don't start out as a six-figure business, and some of us will never be a six-figure business. But what I would like you to think about is being happy in your business, right? Because that's got to count for something. Because while you may say, well, I'll never be a six-figure business, is that even what you want anyway? Like, who told you that should be your goal? Why is that a number that's in your head? Just get yourself thinking about really what your realistic goals are. So I've completely abandoned my script because obviously I don't need one, but I did want to be prepared. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about you for a minute. What do you need to make, right? How are you going to make this money? So the first thing is for you to truly make a goal for yourself is to understand, how much money did you make last year? People think they know this off the top of their heads. Just take a minute, take a look at your numbers. What did you make last year? What did you sell? And then what was your take home? I should have told you to have this ready before you showed up here today. So what is it? What were your sales? And then how much of that did you keep? Now, I teach in flower math how you should be making a 70% profit on your cost of your flowers and supplies, okay? Now, people love to chime in and say, but that doesn't include your other expenses. I know, that's right. Correctamundo. It does not include your other expenses. All those other expenses come out of the 70%, which is why the 70% is so important and why I teach it so like religiously. You got to reach that 70% margin because all your other expenses are coming out of that. So just in case you're not clear, what it is that I teach in flower math is 70% profit on what you spend on your flowers and supplies, okay? So what you're paying your employees, what you're paying for insurance, what you're paying for rent, all the utilities, every single thing that comes out of that 70%, right? At the end of the day, what's left for you? That's why you got to maximize that profit. You got to maximize that profit on your flowers and supplies. Easy formulas to do it, and I show you how I do it in flower math. But for you, what are your sales? How much of that did you keep? Now figure out what percentage you kept, okay? So if I'm telling you 70% on flowers and supplies, were your other expenses like 20%? So did you keep 50% total profit, or did you keep closer to 10%? Whatever the number is, you got to figure that out. What's the percentage that you keep? When you figure out your percentage, you'll be able to, again, with increments, figure out how much you need to sell to make your income goal. So what did you actually accomplish is step number one. Step number two is defining what do you need to make, right? Everybody's going to have a different answer here. Some people, you have a spouse who pays for things, helps pay the rent or pays for everything in your supplemental income, right? That is some people's situation. Other people, you are the sole breadwinner and you have children who depend on you, right? You're in a completely different situation. So you have to know what your income goal is. What do you need to make? And then look at these numbers. How much do you need to sell to get to the goal of what you need to make? It's very simple. People really shy away from doing these kinds of numbers and looking things in the face like this, but I don't see any benefit to, the ostrich putting its head in the sand and completely ignoring the fact that this is possible for you. Or maybe it isn't, right? That's the thing. Sometimes you get the answer you want. Don't be afraid to find the answer because it might not be the answer you want. Flip that around. What if it is the answer you want? What if you need to make $48,000 this year and last year you made 42 and you know that you can do that next year? How good would that feel? What if you need to make, because here's the thing. The third thing is you figure out, first of all, what it is you are able, what you have accomplished already. Then what do you need? What is your absolute need? And then what do you want? That's the third piece. What do you want to make? What would make you feel successful? Maybe you need to make 48, but you really want to make 58, okay? So when we put real numbers in front of ourselves, behind our intentions, right? Where are we headed? Where is this train going? It really, really helps us get there. It helps you realize, you know what? I am going to take that second job this Christmas. Or you know what? If I don't take that second job and I spend more time doing X, Y, Z, I can book probably 3 or 4 more weddings, and that's going to push me above that $48,000 goal. So to yourself be true, to your intentions be true, to your numbers be true, because there's no one who can do this for you except for you. You have to know your numbers and you have to know your heart. What do you really want? Because I can look at my numbers. I did all these numbers. I wrote all this stuff down even in a notebook for you guys. How much would it be in per month? And I don't want to do that. I do not want to have $10,800, so almost $11,000. I don't want to have $11,000 a month, $11,000 weddings a month that I have to do. Other people might be like, that's exactly what I want, and good for you. Do it, then do that, right? But again, to me, myself, being true to myself, I want to have time. I want to be getting off like getting down to the end of the block so I can wait for that kid to get off the bus. I want to be able to walk him to the bus. When he's homesick, I want to be here with him. I mean, I don't really want to be here with him, but you know what I mean. I want to have my life and have my business kind of be a cog in my wheel, but not be like the only thing that I live for, right? And the only thing I can do. And let's be truly, like, for reals, good earning florists are pretty 24/7 with this thing, okay? You are. I see you out there. I see you. I'm a little bit 24/7 too. I'm a little bit, mostly because I run two businesses, but I love it, and you love it too, and that's why you're doing it 24/7. But you know, you got to be honest. When people say, "Oh, well, I make $80,000 in my flower business," I bet they work 7 days a week. I bet their shop is not closed on Christmas Eve, right? Like that. There is a level of commitment and hustle that is proportionate to how much you're going to earn. Okay, so I hope that's helpful in sort of pushing you to realizing that you can set goals, you can determine what works for you, and maybe you can have a 6-figure business. If you want to sell, you know, $270,000 worth of stuff or more, like you might not keep as much profit as what I had calculated. In case you're just curious, the way I calculated that was based on what I currently make, like the percentage I currently make. I assumed, well, I'll have to have more staff if I have that higher income level. So that would cut into my percentage by, I don't know, I think I might have estimated 15%, which could actually be low, by the way. So I could even have to sell more than that to get to that $100,000 level. But I did a little land of make-believe. I love Mr. Rogers. I went to the land of make-believe and I said, well, if I were gonna do bigger weddings, how many people would I need? What-ish would that cost in terms of labor? And then that's how I came up with my new imaginary life where I would have to sell $54,000 worth of weddings a month for 5 months. Because again, we're seasonal, right? So if you live someplace where you can do, tons of comments, sorry I'm missing them, I'll take a look in a second. If you work someplace where you can do weddings, 12 months a year, then you get away with, I think it was like the low price of, let's see, $22,000, $22,500 a month in sales. That's a lot. That's still a lot of weddings. If I were doing $5,000 weddings, it'd be 54 weddings. So more than one every single week of my life. By the way, not part of what I want to do, right? Not in my plans. All right, I'll grab a couple of comments out of here. Sherry says, preach it, 6 figures isn't all it's cracked up to be. Being happy is the biggest key. It really is. And I feel like even myself, I don't drive that home enough. That is what this is about. Why do this if you're not happy? Shauna says, is the 70% after the materials markup? Your 70% profit is what you'll make if you use the industry standards on markups and your design fee, okay? So yes, your 70% profit is because, here's what I'm gonna say, I'm gonna totally change around the words of your question. You make the 70% because of your markup. So it's not about before or after the markup. It's because of your markup, you are able to make a 70% profit margin. Donna says, I'm joining late. I hope I didn't miss too much. Well, you can watch on a replay. That's the beauty of this stuff. I hear some people saying no thank you. I'm gonna guess they're saying no thank you to the $54,000 a month in sales. Mary says, good morning, thank you for addressing this. If you have a question that I missed, if you want to retype it now, I'm like looking at the comments, so please feel free to do that. At the end of the day, it's about being real, having a real expectation. I don't know if you saw it, I wrote in the group like, hey, you might want to invite your spouse to this chat because we've all been there where you've got this partner saying, but when is your business gonna make money? But how much? And when, 5 years from now, what can I expect, right? That's gotta be, it's important. It's an important part of your life to have this communication with your partner, to have your partner support your business because they see where it's going. And one thing I know without a question is that people start this business without any business plan. They're like, I'm going to do this, and I took a course, or I went to a workshop and everybody's doing it. Again, are the people who are selling you the stuff at the workshop, are they making money as a florist? Or are they making money from selling workshops? Okay, it's so important to know the difference between someone who's selling to you and someone who actually does this work. Okay, it's so, so important. Roxanne says, can you recap for those of us that joined late? I can try. You will be able to watch on a replay, so you don't have to worry about missing anything. The recap, if there is a recap, because I should have a recap in my notes here, is really that not everybody's going to make a six-figure income, and in fact, most people won't, okay? The recap is you got to think about your own goals and your own business direction when you're setting yourself up for whatever your business is going to be, whether it's home, whether you're working for someone else, whether you're going to open a store, whether you're going to do events only, but you're going to pay rent to have a studio because you can't work from home because that just isn't going to make you happy, right? Whatever column you fall into, or maybe you're a crossover of some of these things, you have to know for yourself what a realistic income goal is. And so my main point is that I don't want you to have $100,000 as your goal, because you got to really, really work to earn that. And it's got to be about what makes you happy at the end of the day and what makes you feel fulfilled. And of course, it is about how much money we make. How much money we make is very much, I mean, look, everyone in different countries has different relationships to money, right? Americans, right? We have a very different relationship to money than other people. We also happen to live in a country that doesn't have health insurance, right? So like, I couldn't have my business. God's honest truth, I couldn't have my business if I didn't marry my husband who had a job with health insurance, right? I'd have to go out and get another job that gave me health insurance. We have to always recognize our own little moments of luck, the things that have allowed us to get in the door to say we do this gig full time. And it's because of having someone else's income to lean on, because I didn't have to be an earner the first couple of years where I was finally doing this full time, right? Because we planned for this. We had an understanding of what was going to happen here, right? And I'll say it out loud. Last year was the first year where I made more than my husband, all right? Just saying, just saying. Now, I don't know that I'll do that every year, right? That's my goal. When I look at my plan, my goal says beat David, beat David in the income race, but it won't always be that way, right? And I might make more money. Let's say I'll definitely make more money. Let's just say that. Let's say I'll definitely make more money. But he still provides, right? The 401k, I save for my retirement too, but he's got the 401k. He's got the bells and whistles with the health insurance if I need to go to the eye doctor, right? Other people in other countries have health insurance. They can pick this job, right? That's something that really occurs to me as a florist. Like, if you could just have health insurance, imagine how many more people would be florists in the world, right? Because you can do what you love if you don't have that worry of, I need somebody to support this aspect. Like, what if something happens to me? By the way, something could happen to you. You're working with knives and chemicals, and you're standing all the time, and you're climbing up ladders, and you're, in a rush and closing stuff in trunks, right? Like, there's all kinds of things, all kinds of safety issues. Like, you gotta have health insurance. So we gotta be realistic about our own lives, what we need, what we wanna get out of our life, and what we wanna get out of our business, and they can't be mutually exclusive, okay? That's really, really, if I could recap for you, Roxanne, that is the recap, okay? And again, at the end of the day, it's about that 70% profit margin. If you're not sure how to do that, my course, Flower Math, really walks you through that. And you can find it at realflowerbusiness.com. You'll find all the details on it. And I am always happy to answer questions. And anybody who's taken Flower Math will tell you that they have increased their profits, that they've definitely increased their confidence. And I am here to answer questions. So if you take the course and have a question, get in touch. I am here to support it. It's not something that I just sell and it's like you're on your own. I'm a real person. I am here. I didn't just call it Real Flower Business for nothing. I'm really real and really real. And I am here to help you if you need it. So make that money, set your income goal. If you haven't set a sales goal for yourself for this year yet, it's July, by the way. It's almost August. Set the goal, set it. It's never too late. It's never too late to have a business plan. It's never too late to set your sales goal and really set yourself up for success, because when we have that target, you can hit the target more easily because you make decisions that are in line with getting to that target. Should I book this wedding or shouldn't I book that wedding? Well, is it in line with what I need to get there? That is why you have a goal. It's why you have a target, because it makes the other decisions easier, okay? Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have additional questions, please feel free to be in touch. It's so important for us to be real, really real about what it is that we're doing here. We're making beautiful work. I want you to keep doing beautiful work for years and years. And I also want you to keep some sanity and not judge yourself too harshly if you're not making a six-figure income, because that is above average, okay? So if you're in the average range, there ain't nothing wrong with that, okay? And you can always set a higher goal for next year. Keep doing beautiful work. Keep moving forward in your business and in your life too. Don't forget, you know, I'm very business oriented. I love it. It fills me up. Talking about business makes me happy. I'm a weirdo like that. But at the end of the day, if you don't make time for life, right? Like meditating, stretching after a super duper long week, forget about day in the shop, week in your shop. If you don't make time to just sit and be quiet, right? Just be with yourself, you're missing out on really important things. The hustle can't be the only thing that we're doing. It just can't be, okay? Keep doing beautiful work. I will see you next time. You'll find all of my courses at realflowerbusiness.com, by the way, including free courses. So you don't have to buy anything from me to get some of my goodies. You can get them right at realflowerbusiness.com. Thank you for spending some of your Sunday with me today. I really appreciate everybody who showed up. Got a whole bunch of people who tuned in. I so appreciate it. And if you're watching on a replay, I appreciate you too. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next time.